Greetings and blessings and welcome. Welcome each and everyone to another wonderful opportunity to know the presence of Spirit in, through, and as our lives. And today, this is something new, the inauguration of something that is going to continue to be a presence in our lives. It's called Welcome to the After Party. Welcome to the Love Tap. This is the Love Tap. We're TAP. You know, I love acronyms. Those of you who don't know, now you know. I love acronyms. And it's called Talking About Principle or the After Party, where we get to talk about the previous day, Sunday's celebration, not just myself, but the guests that are coming in. And we are having an after party talking about principle, about what it is that we would like to share that came up from yesterday's celebration. Today, our guest is Reverend Melissa. Reverend Melissa, I'm going to bring you on. Yes, and here she is. And so Reverend Melissa is going to give a brief. She's a senior minister at Rockland Centers for Spiritual Living, and just tell us quickly about yourself.
Oh, sure. Oh, first of all, Rev Rodney, thank you so much for having me on the very first show. I love being first. I'm the first. I'm the oldest in my family of my mother and father's children. So I love being the first. And I just think this is a brilliant idea. Brilliant idea. So I am Rev Melissa. I am the spiritual director at Rockland CSL, as Rev Rod has said. I'm also an interfaith minister. I do spiritual life coaching. I am a human resources consultant. And I do everything that is related to joy. I say I have a ministry of joy.
Mm.
So I work and I show up as a representation of joy in the world.
Well, I can say easily, and I'm sure everybody can agree that you represent joy in a bountiful way. And so,
Thank
thank
you.
you again for saying yes. And yes, so I am the senior minister at One Love Center for Spiritual Living, and it's just Spirit has spoken, and we're showing up. And
Yes.
so, in accordance to what we say we're about, it's to maybe summarize or perhaps add some information that came up for you after your Sunday celebration, and it was Wordle wisdom.
Yes.
And I love the wisdom part, and I had to be trained a little bit before we started about what Wordle is, and you had put it so succinctly yesterday.
Well, I could share that because
Yeah.
it did stump a number of people, including our live musician. She sent me an email. She said, I'm not sure what you're talking about here. I got the wisdom part, the wordle part, I'm not so sure about. But basically, we've all seen them. They're also known as word clouds. And it's basically capturing the essence of something that you are expressing and you want to highlight it. And so
Mhm.
this is how I described it, that we can use Wordle as a spiritual tool to see the unseen from the wisdom that reveals itself through each person. And we were using this in the context of our visioning, right? And so Wordle basically is a textual data visualization that allows you to see at a single glance words that have the highest frequency. So the word that was used over and over again is bigger and bigger and bigger. And words that aren't used as often are smaller. So for our purposes, when we did visioning, I put all of the words that came up into a document, downloaded it into Wordle, which is a tool that you can find on the internet. And the words that jumped out were the words that we're going to use for our new visioning statement. So the two words that had the most frequency, frequency in the sense of it was said the most, and frequency in the sense of vibration,
Mm.
were expansion and love. So those are the foundations for our new vision that we'll be co-creating with Spirit because that's God's idea for Rockland
Mhm.
CSL. So we're going to go with that.
All right. Awesome. And so, and it's I'm gonna do a real quick word screen share and
Okay.
see if I can bring up exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, fabulous.
And let's see. Let me bring it up very quickly. It's here somewhere. Hmm. Here it is. Can you see that?
Well, I see. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's what she's talking about. Very good.
Yes. And that actually is our wordle right there. So
Mm-hmm.
expansion, you see expansion jumps right out at you. And then you see love, spiritual, supportive, open, acceptance, light, grow, joy, God, trust. So those are the words. We picked 9 of them because when we were doing our visioning, we had 157 words that came through.
Wow.
Yeah. Over a 6-month period, we captured the visioning between the time that I became the spiritual director and Eugene Halden did a visioning session with us in February. So I used that period as our bookends for the visioning and just, like I said, entered all the words into a document, dropped it in, and every time somebody said expansion, even if they said it 15 times, which is what happened, different people said expansion or expanded or expand, and it captures the frequency of that.
Okay.
So it's a very fun tool, but it also helps you to just focus on what is most evident, right? And so for us, most evident is expansion and love. And we're going to use the other ones that came up too. So spiritual, light, grow, acceptance, joy, open, and supportive are going
Mhm.
to be the words that we use for our revisioning of our vision.
All right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
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 So thank you. Yeah, I'm going to definitely put that to use as well. I appreciate that. So let me ask you, is there anything that came up for you yesterday that you didn't get to share in
Well,
your
I was thinking about that, and I did like cliffhangers. So we for April, our theme is revisioning the vision. And
Mhm.
so I've been setting this up for the month of April and ended with a cliffhanger the Sunday before last because I didn't reveal the words. And then
Mm.
yesterday I revealed the words. And I think what I want to emphasize that I don't think that I really did as much yesterday is that when we do visioning and we're catching God's idea for our centers, to remember that it's also God's idea for us individually. So if expansion in love is what came through most frequently and is the vibration for our center, then it's also the vibration for me,
Mm.
right? Also the vibration for everyone in the center, right? So to start just being that expansion and love and start to own it, right? As this is where we're going, this is where the divine is leading us through. It's exciting for me. And I don't think I really punched that home. I didn't punctuate it yesterday. So I'm happy for the opportunity to say it now.
Well, I'm glad you did because from what I watched of the recording, I got that, and
Mm,
it yeah because we're all one.
that's
You
right.
know, it's like what's true for one is true for all. Otherwise, it couldn't be the truth, capital T. You
That's
know,
right.
yeah, we have individual truths that show up in our lives and might be true for that moment, but overall, there's only one truth, uh,
That's right.
and I call it it.
Hmm.
God, I call everything it or something. Or all the other so-called possible names of God, and every time somebody says, "Oh, that's it," well, I for me is infinite truth. And what's the
Mm.
infinite truth? The truth that's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And I like what you said, but you're using yesterday in that previous. I love how that worked in. But
Yes.
what's always the truth is that God is all there is. You
God
know,
is all there is.
it's all
Yes.
there is. That's the truth. You know,
And isn't it wonderful to know that?
to know it, to feel it, to believe it, to live from it.
Yes.
And my next point is in when we do visioning and we are realizing that what came out for this question, whatever it is, and the response from myself, yes, it's contributing to the overall theme of the question, and yes, it applies to me and it applies to everyone because we're all one. But one of
Hmm.
the things I got from Reverend Michael Beckwith is
Hmm.
that these responses, these replies, and even the vision, it's already happening. It's already manifesting. We're getting a
Yes.
glimpse of it. We're like, oh, we're sorry. It's becoming more clear. It doesn't mean it wasn't there, and then all of a sudden, poof, it's going to show up. It's already
That's right.
happening. And so when
That's
you're
right.
talking about expansion, and somebody's like, yes, well, that works for me too. It's already been working. It's just now
Yes.
becoming more clear, and we can
Yes.
facilitate it. We can
Yes.
like my talk yesterday was about releasing a
Mm.
lot of it was about releasing, and the theme was dancing with the donkey. Like the parts of our lives that are stubborn and but also it could mean determination. It could mean getting through hard times. Like donkeys can walk on steep cliffs and terrible terrain, and
Yes.
when they want to, they don't want to do anything. They just
That's
sit right
right.
there, and you can't move them.
That's
But
right.
that can still be a wonderful quality. But when we're talking about releasing, and it's like releasing is a big part of visioning, because I
Yes.
have to let go of any of my preconceived notions. I have to let go of my way of wanting to do things, my
Hmm.
own donkeyness, to allow a thoroughbred to come through, to
Yes.
allow for that energy that's really going to move us forward, which means,
Yes.
yes, I'm going along for the ride. I'm not trying to make it happen. I'm not trying to take by the reins of spirit. Okay, spirit, we're going this way. No, you
Yes. Yes.
know.
Yes, and that is so powerful, Rev Rod, because it is. It's already here, right? It's already present. But sometimes what's not present, because the one of the most important steps in the life visioning process that Reverend Michael gifted us with is the sacred yes.
Yeah.
Saying yes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the step that we really have to step into, right? The sacred yes. I'm saying that expansion in love, yes, it's already present, it's already manifesting itself, it is already here and represented at Centers for Spiritual Living in Rockland County. And now we get to say yes to it even more,
That's right.
right? Because we might not have recognized that it was, we might not have had that realization that it is, right? And so now through this process that we've gone through, we see it clearly. It's in black and white. There it is, right? Are you willing to say yes?
That's it. Well, and I like two things. One is you started off the month with yes.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about yes. So people and the second thing is they said yes and don't even know what they were saying yes to. That's a supreme willingness. And you don't get to take a backward step on it. Oh, wait a minute. Let me. Can we
I
back up a
changed
minute?
my mind.
Yeah. Nope. You can't change spirit's mind, the mind of
That's
spirit.
right.
And,
That's right.
and that's when that donkey creeps in. That part that's like, no, I don't think I want to go there. But that's based on our limited thinking because we can't see that
Yes.
far ahead.
That's
Wouldn't that
right.
be awesome if we could see our whole life mapped out? But then it takes away from so much. It
Yeah,
takes
I
away
don't think I
from
would like that.
Yeah. I
I
mean, then
don't
we
think
would,
I would like to see my whole life mapped out before my very eyes.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I like
sometimes,
cliffhangers.
yeah, right, yeah. The suspense, right? It's like,
Yes.
yeah, that's for sure. Because yeah, then we miss out on the faith, we miss out on the trust, we miss out on so much of what of where we feel really alive. Like
Yes.
I just know it's going to work out. That cliffhanger. I don't know what's around the corner, but it's got to be good. I can't wait to
Yes.
see that good.
Yes.
And that was something that I had to come to terms with early on in this teaching. It's like, yes,
Mm.
I know my good is here for me. And I get all intellectual about it. Yes, well, it is said, it is shown, it's the law. I can speak my word, and my good does appear. And then I wasn't engaging in the feeling of it all, of the
That's right.
wonder of it all. I was at with Reverend Michael Beckwith had a Revelations convention, or
Hmm.
retreat. I forgot what we called it, but Revelations, and my first one. And I heard him say, you know, don't shut yourself off from the feeling of wonder. Yes, we know that your good is here for you and everything. And I realized that I was shortchanging myself from allowing myself to feel. And
Mm.
when we do that, that even speeds up the good, as it
Mm.
showing up in our lives. It speeds up our recognition of it. It
Yes.
opens us up to that which is already present. And when we are
Yes.
saying yes before we even know what's around the corner, well, yeah, I know it's good. I just would love to see how it shows up. Because our
That's
job is
right.
how. We don't do the how part. That's God's part.
That's right. And so I've been sitting and being with Yes in a more deliberate way this month,
Mm,
right? And last week I had Yes Day.
mm,
So on a separate show that I do, Spirit in Practice, I'm celebrating my 2-year anniversary of the show being on New Thought Media Network. And so last week, April 6th, was the 2-year anniversary. And so I declared it Yes Day. And
mm.
so I had to say yes to everything that happened on Wednesday, as long as it didn't cause me any harm. And so what happens? My daughter's teacher reaches out to me to chaperone their ninth grade class on Wednesday, the anniversary. I have a whole show planned, and I had to say yes. Right? So I said yes. I pre-recorded the show. The show, went on Wednesday, and I was out with ninth graders at a water filtration plant in Brooklyn, in Greenpoint,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Brooklyn, and it was extraordinary. It was an experience I probably never would have had, because who wants to
Mm.
go to a water waste management plant, right? But I learned so much
Mm.
because I said yes. And
Yes.
so we don't know what that yes might um what experiences we might have by saying yes,
Hmm.
right? But God knows, right?
Yes.
It knows, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm continuing to say yes, because why not?
Yeah. There
Why
you go.
not?
All
Right? As
right.
long as it causes no harm to
Mm.
me or others, let's say yes.
That's
So
it.
that energy, that powerful yes in and of itself is principle.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, indeed, and so
Yes.
true. And it's interesting because and I talked about yes in that first week as well. And there is a time like when no has a place. However, it's a no that leads to a greater yes. It's like, so there are times when, it takes a lot sometimes for us to release and to trust
Hmm.
that there is a vision that's already happening for us that we're living into, and we
Yes.
have to stay on that track. And it's like, yeah, how do I continue on that track saying yes,
Hmm.
but there's some things I have to say no to,
Yes.
because I want to stay on point. I want to stay with the vision. And
Yes.
maybe it's not so necessarily harmful, that I can't see down the road that it could be harmful. It could lead that way. However, all I know is it's not keeping me on path. So I have to say
Yes.
no to that, which is allowing me to have a greater yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so
Yes.
after it's all said and done, it's always going to be yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yeah. Mm. I love that you said that because no, as ministers, I had to learn this the hard way. I was saying yes, 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 yes. And what I've come to learn is I have a criteria. I call it my joy criteria. And if whatever it is doesn't meet the criteria of my joy, then it's a no.
mm-hmm.
And I've had experiences where I didn't check in yet. I didn't check in with the joy, right? And
Mm,
I said yes, and it caused me harm. It
mm,
caused me mental harm, emotional harm. It was starting to cause me physical harm.
mm,
And eventually I realized, wait a minute, this doesn't line up with my joy. So this has to be a no, you
mm-hmm.
know? And so then it became no, no. And right on the other side of that, my yes was waiting for me, like, girl, where you go? Come on over here, girl. Welcome
Right.
home. We know
Uh,
you want to take that little detour over there, but
right.
welcome back. Welcome
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So yes, there is and I learned that no is a complete sentence. I
mm-hmm.
don't have to explain it. I don't have to defend it. No is a complete sentence.
And I like acronyms. So NO also for me means new opportunities.
Ah, yes.
Meaning, what I say no to, it opens up a new opportunity.
Yes.
We could all make some acronyms for no, and but that has a powerful explanation for it. At least in
Yes.
my mind, I don't have to explain it to anybody, but I know where
Yeah.
when I say no, that I am being open to something new.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
love that. I'm going to
yeah,
take that with
yeah.
me.
And joy is one of my favorites because that's like
Mm.
jubilant, overpowering. Yes, when you
Ah,
say yes, you just feel the joy. Yes, that's jubilant, and it's just overpowers everything. That's the power of love and the joy. When you say yes, yeah.
yes.
And I like to
Oh,
believe that when we say yes, that we do it. I think it's very difficult to say yes and not smile, or at least feel the
mm,
warmth inside.
mhm,
It's
mhm,
like it's like you can't say I love you and make a mean face. It's
mhm.
like that doesn't work. It's like if you say yes and you mean it, and it's from your heart space,
Yeah,
from the connection, you can't help.
yeah,
Oh yes.
yeah,
It is affirmative.
yes.
It's like if somebody goes, oh yeah, nah, it's even I can't even fake it.
Right, right, right. Right, the feeling tone of it, right? There
Right.
is a authentic feeling tone to yes. And that's a signal for me if I'm not being in my integrity about something.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Mm-hmm.
could say yes,
Yes,
right? And the feeling tone is not there,
that's right.
right? And then I have to take a step back and say, okay, what's happening here? And let me really look at this before I start proceeding down into something that is really not for me to do,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know? And
And
then it
and this
becomes what that no new opportunities, right?
That's it. That's it. And that's a great thing about the visioning. And I'm I'm just so happy to hear that you're doing it with your community, and that so many of us are embracing it, because
Mm,
it is that yes, being open to spirit. I mean, when we're in visioning, for those of you who may not know, it's like we are connecting on a very deep and high level. The
mhm.
awareness that voice of God within me is
Yes.
is the truth. And so whatever comes through the visioning and the meditation, whatever comes through, we're surrendering to. And that surrendering is saying yes. That surrendering is releasing. That surrendering is like, yes, This is, in truth, this is God's will, speaking its truth in, through, and as me, in, through, and as us. And to me, that's the joy of visioning and trusting, saying yes to when we know we're complete with it, and seeing like you have the wordle, and you're like, yes, this is what came out of it. Oh, that is awesome. That's what we got the name of my center. We did visioning for like 9 months. It was really like a birth,
Birth, yeah, yeah.
and this is before Wordle, so I had charts and went through all of them. Had to write it all out, and the two most prominent words were one and love, and that became the name of the center. A lot of people think, oh, like the reggae song Bob Marley. I'm like, no, that's not where it came from. At least not directly. I mean, it's all one love. But,
yeah. I'm the power of doing visioning in community cannot be stressed enough. And I would just say to like any center or even I've been working in my imagination on how to bring this process to the business setting, because I do human resources consulting, and I could see how powerful a tool it would be for organizations who are going through restructuring, for example. So I've been kind of playing around with it in my mind to transpose it to a business setting. So you have any ideas, Rev Rod? I'm open to receive them. But community is so powerful to do it in community.
Absolutely. So, and I do have ideas, and I've used it myself, and it takes a little tweaking, but it's usually well received, and it has been used, and I can even connect you with some other people who do it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And so, I would love to monopolize your time. However, I'm going to bring this to a close, and we're going to go off on a vibrant yes. And I invite you, if you like, to do a closing prayer.
Oh, I would love to. And before I do that, I just want to say thank you to you for saying yes to being our guest speaker on April 24th at Rockland CSL. So those of you who are watching it, please come and support and send Rev Rod some love on April 24th at Rockland CSL. And you could see it on, you go to rocklandcsl.org and click Sunday service, and you'll be in the Zoom room, or you could watch us on Facebook Live. We stream there. So thank you again for saying yes.
Thank you for the invitation. Yes.
Oh, so we take that yes. We take that yes and we go within. We go within to that high vibration of yes, that high vibration of the law of yes that always says yes to us. And as we know that the power of yes is what we are the representation of God's yes. We are the representation of God contemplating and saying, yes, Rod, yes, Melissa. And here we are, present, loving, expanding in the glory and the gloriousness and the magnificence that God made us to be. And so I am so grateful for this space to tap in, the after party, to be in the vibration of love with Rev Rod. I give blessings for this program. I see it expanding and radiating throughout the land, knowing that all is well, all is good, all is unfolding in the ever unfolding good of yes. And I release it into that yes, knowing that it cannot return void, but returns in the overflow of more yes, of more joy, of more good. And so it is. And now may it be so, as Red Rob says, Ashe and amen.
Amen. And now it is. Thank you.
And now it is.
It's a song
blessing.
Yes, it's called God Always Says Yes. And there's some other people who do it. It's like God always saying yes, yes, yes. Woo, I'll share that with you next time. All right.
Thank you.
Peace and
All
blessings,
right. Peace
everyone.
and blessings.